Right, Land Rover Discovery 3, 4, Range Rover Sport, all got an air tank. So, for your suspension, they all ride on air suspension. We've got these airbags under here. Let's have a look at our airbags here. They go up and down and help keep us all bouncing and make us go off-road mode. But I want a couple of things it needs. It needs a compressor. We've done the video for changing the compressor. And it also needs an air tank. So let's dive underneath and have a look where the air tank is. So here you'll see this is the air tank. Now we've put some WD-40 on that, but it's this cylindrical bit here that goes between your sill and your chassis on the left-hand side. Now as you can see, they start to get a bit rusty and crusty. Can you see that, Tyler? Look at that. It's got some flakiness going on there. So I'm not happy with this. Effectively, it's a pressure vessel holding a high volume of pressure, and if it goes, boom, it's going to drop to the ground, the car. Or, I don't know, actually I don't know if that's strictly true, but it's going to give us problems with our air suspension. I think the valves do some trickery. But basically, be careful. If you're working on your car and you suspect your air tank is gone, make sure you get some blocks up. So what we're going to do in this video, we are going to look at how to change your air tank. Now, essentially, you're going to have to undo these two nuts at this end. Let's slide down to the other end, Tyler, and have a look what we've got going on down the other end. Oh, I'm too old to do this. Right then, what we got down here? Now, we have got these two bolts up here. I'm probably going to get in the way of the camera. Can you see those two bolts? We can do arrows as well now. I've worked out how to do arrows when I upload the videos. Did you see that the other day? So I reckon we've got to undo these and then drop this down. But, back up the other end, Tyler. Look, what challenge. One thing we've got to watch, so that's the bolts that fix it. But there's that little pipe, isn't there? Can you get you have the light and the thing. You see if you can show people. I can't get my little pinkies in there. I don't think I can. We'll have to do the arrows. Have you got it on the camera, Tyler?
Yeah, you can just about see it.
So we've got to get that air connector there. We've got to get to that air connector up there. But I think what we'll do is we'll drop the tank down from that back end, and then we'll try and get to that air pipe. Am I moving it there? Is it that one there? Yeah. Oh no, it's not that one there. But yeah, we'll get that. So we are going to loosen these bolts. Hopefully they'll come undone. We'll have a go and we'll show you us doing that. And then we'll come and have a go at getting this tank out.
Yep.
Tyler's had a quick go and he's getting nowhere. The nuts are pretty rusty. So I've got these Irwin sockets. If you look in there, you can see they got some super twisty thing. And they sort of get tighter. They come as a little set. I'm not promoting Irwin. I'm not sponsored by anyone, but these are good. So you can see they come as a set. And we're going to hammer it on. And then let's see if this works. Right, Tyler, let me position the light for you. Grab the camera. Alright then. Let's have a look at this. This may help somebody out. So we're looking at those two on the end of the tank. You can see those nuts that... I've got to get out the way of my own light. There you go, go on then. Yeah. Right, now, I'll hammer it on first, Tyler. Is it on fully? Take the socket off the end of their thing. Put it on the thing and give it a little tap with a hammer, because the tap will make sure it's on fully and it will also loosen it a bit as well. So give it a good little go on, Right, now get the socket on it now. Is it on? You happy it's on? It looks a bit squiffy. Try and get it central. Tap it up a bit if you can to get it. That's it. Now tap it in. Right, that's it. That'll do. Yeah. Right, and let's see if this does the trick. Go on then, push, that's it. Oh,
I'm getting something.
We're getting something. Do we love Mr. Irwin?
Yeah.
Sending out love to Mr. Irwin. Right, we'll let Tyler struggle with that. Now, one thing I did show the other day, Tyler, what if it gets really tight? Wind it back clockwise again, because sometimes the muck gets clogged in. Now, you might better do it with that socket, which might be one downside. Try to go clockwise again. No, that's anti-clockwise. Right, I'll work this, but sometimes when you're winding them out, it brings all the dirt in. So sometimes it's better to wind it back in again. Spray a bit of WD-40, wind it out again till it gets stuck again. Wind it in again. Ooh. Right, the Irwin sockets are doing it. Oh, snapped it! Look at you, tiger! But I think that'll do. That's one way of doing it. Right then, we'll have a go on the second one. So before messing about with the compressor tank, too much, it's pressurized. It is effectively a bomb, so one has to be a little bit careful. So we do need to try and depressurize the tank before we start trying to take it off. Now, the official way to do it is to get your IID tool, and you can go into the software and go depressurize and everything like that. But I'm going to try and do it the sort of doing it at home on the garage way, even though we got the IID tool, just to see if it works. Now, getting onto the fitting, where's it? Good, my tank gone. Getting onto the air fitting right up in here is going to be a pain. They've put it, but the pipe comes out of here along to this valve block. Now I've removed the cover off the compressor here, and in front of the compressor there is this valve block. You will see this green wire. Well, above it you've got this black wire, and that goes along to the tank. So I'm hoping if I just gently release this one, if I can get my spanner on there, let me lie under it next to you here, Tyler. Let's see if I can. Will I better get my spanner on there? Yeah. And then see how tricky that. Now I haven't done this before, but that seemed to undo. Now we might have to turn the spanner over. You know that trick, Tyler? If you haven't got room to do it. I'm blocking my own light. Right, now, there we go. That's it. Right, now I can't hear any leaking yet, so I would recommend wearing eye protection when you're messing about with these compressed air fittings. We can't hear any air leaking yet, but obviously make sure your car is on axle stands, because when you release the air pressure, you're highly likely that your airbags are going to go down. But our car is on axle stand. Right, now what you can do with this valve block, if you're struggling like I am, you can push it up like that, and it will drop down a bit. And that should give me a bit more room, shouldn't it?
Lots more room.
Lots more room. Can't hear any air yet, can we?
No.
And it is possible the air could squeeze out here. We could get a big hiss, which might be a little dangerous, but right, there we go. There we go. Right. Again, I'll keep your hands out of the way a little bit. The trouble is that pipe is sort of, as I twist it, that you can see the nuts twisting together, so it's like I've got to twist it, hold it, and then move the pipe back up.
So I just hold the pipe.
Unless you hold the pipe, yeah. Which way? I can't get my foot. Ah! Alright then. Alright, well there we go, we got no air out of that. Now, obviously we've had this car supported up for a while. I'm trying to get it in the light though. That's it. But you can see the fitting on there. You would hope that would leak a little bit. And I don't think it's going to have a one-way valve, because it has to deliver the air from that. So it looks like as we've left it for a while, we've got no air there. But be careful doing that. You can see is there an O-ring right at the front? There is an O-ring right at the front there. So once you pass the O-ring, it should let some air out. So that's my unofficial way of doing it, but do take care when you're taking off. The air could come out of here and it could this a little bit. So just be careful. Do that slowly. As long as you can hear air hissing out, I would leave it. I wouldn't turn it anymore. Right, with that on, we can get on and get back to where we were before, where we're starting to undo this. So this one here won't move, even with the Irwin socket. So I'm going to have to get, I'm going to see if I can grind a flat on the bottom and get the mole grips on it. So there's just enough room for us to get in there with the little grinder, and we've taken most of it off there. It doesn't matter, because the bolt goes through into a captive nut on the back of the tank. So by cutting it off, we're throwing the tank away anyway. We'll just be back to original with holes in there. So I'll just clean that a little bit. So there we go, we should be Right, let's go and have a look at the other end, Tyler. Right, so we're under the front end now. We reckon they're 10mm. Tyler's having a go at getting them. So just, again, by hammering that socket on, we're not only getting a good fit on there, and we've gone for a 6-sided socket again. That's why we're using the long reach sockets. They tend to be. And we're just going to have a go. Hammering it or loosen it and get it on. Right, we're going to be lucky, Tyler. Are the lucky stars shining on us? Slide it. Yeah.
Not that way.
That's it.
That way.
And keep it pushed up. Go on, go on, go on, go on, go on, go on, go on. What are we having? Oh, he's going purple. Go on, Tiger. Go on. Alright, we might have to get a longer bar on that. Let's have a look.
Yeah.
But at least we're gripping. Right, we've got a bigger ratchet on here now, bigger ratchet handle. So keep that square, keep that back a little bit, that's it. Oh, he's slipping now, is he? He's Irwin socket time, is he? Oh, he is tight, isn't he? Right, we'll let Tyler fight his way through these two. Right, so we're back at the rear end. We've done one of the ones at the front, but we're now on the back. So I'm going to try and use the leverage of the tank to snap the remaining front bolt, because we're in a pickle. So I'm just going to try and see if I can just get in between here and just lever that plate away. That should be, and that should enable that tank to drop. We've still got a... That tank is still on that top bolt by the look of it, isn't it? Right. Now, how much leverage? Right. So that's that top fitting. Now we've got that exposed, I reckon we should undo that top fitting. So let's grab a 22mm spanner. Right, we got the 22mm spanner. We've wiggled it on there. Go on then, Tyler. Do your worst. That's it. Go on, Tyler. Go on, go on, go on, go on, go on. Something happened.
It moved.
It moved. Right. Now will that pipe spin for you? That's it. Flip the spanner around. Now, it might be fortuitous that we've got one bolt left in the front, because that gave Tyler something to react against. So, I don't know if that's a top tip. Right. Now, obviously, if you start hearing air hissing at this point, leave it drain. Obviously, make sure your system's drained, because that plug would fire out. But you would hear it hissing first. It'd be interesting to see how long the thread is on that time.
Still going.
Still going. Longer than he wants it to be. Get it by hand yet? Because you've got quite a bit of grip on that at 22mm. Nope. Nope. You're making it look so effortless and easy. Our new tank hasn't come yet, but we'll get this out and then we'll have a look at them now side by side when it comes tomorrow. You make it. You got it?
Yeah.
It's having it.
Hand.
There you go. Whoa. Right, so it's got a reasonably long thread in it. So that's, now that they give these are called Voss fittings apparently. These fittings here. And that's a 6mm pipe. So you need a new, it's all a bit grizzly inside. Right, what do you reckon the chance of you just being able to snap that front bolt off, Tyler?
Chugging it down.
Because I can't think you're going to break the chassis. So just, you're going to have to get fairly fierce with it. Something, oh, water.
Liquid.
Yeah, that's right. That's condensation. It'd be good if they put a drain plug on the bottom, and then you could periodically drain them. Just rattle it backwards and forwards. It might be we got a bad idea here, but we ain't got a lot of choice, have we? Right, let me come and give you a hand. Right, with a bit of leverage, we levered a bit of wood. Do a demo of how we levered it, Tyler. We put it up there against the chassis, and we levered on the top there, and then we gave it a bit of a kick. Is it off now, do we think, Tyler?
Well, it's very loose.
It's very loose, is it? Go on. It's nearly off.
Nearly.
Right, we'll give it a bit more fighting, but you don't want to watch that because it's horrible. So we got the tank off. We'll have a look at that later, and we'll get the new one. And then we just sort of ripped it off. But if we have a look under here, we've got one. You can see if we get it right. If I put the light to the side, it'll be a bit better. You can see where we've got this. We've ripped it off there, and then we've got one bolt sheared, and then the other one we've tried to get the grinder in, but we haven't. So we've got the little handy Dremel. So Tyler's going to get busy with the Dremel. Where's your Dremel, Tyler? Back here. Let's have a look. So we got the Dremel. We got this little quick release cutting disc thing on them. That's quite good. So Tyler's going to get busy with that, and we'll just try and get away at it so that we can get that bracket off. Right, I'm going to have a look if that new air tank's turned up. Will you get on with that, Tyler? Right, so here we have. The old tank is now off. This is the bracket that we sort of destroyed. But actually, it looks like under this bracket here, because if you look on this one, it sort of forms a little trap, and I think all the mud gets in this little pocket here, and it seems pretty. So even if you're inspecting a tank, you wouldn't see that up on the top there. Tyler's going to cut that through for us, and we'll have a look how rusty it is inside and how thin the metal is. But that's that. So we got a drain plug or something on the back of this one, Tyler. They've obviously cost downed it on the back. Doesn't exist on that one. Everything else looks the same. It's a weird shape. You would have think it would be like a cylinder, but it's some like sort of
2 cylinders.
Sort of 2 cylinders morphed into one. Don't know why. So there's the bracket. So that's the little tab that's supposed to sort of locate it, I think, where you can sort of put that end in. And there's our 2 captive nuts all in there. This is our new connector already. Just to show you what you've got there. You don't try and put the pipe in here. This is a little sort of plug. It's a plug to, I guess they pressure test it. And then you insert your pipe in there. So we've got to get the other pipe out. But that's what they call a Voss connector. And what you've got is actually this here inside that. If you buy one of those, woo, there you go. That's that there, and that little collar's come out there. So how does that? I've broken it, Tyler. What's going on?
Just all shoves on.
I don't know how that even works. Look, we'll have to look at that. But maybe when it's in there, that isn't going to fall out. Do you see what I mean, Tyler? But it looks like it's got a little conical thing. I think the pipe must go through and grip on that. Oh, it's got a split collar. Look. Right then. Okay, so that holds it all together. So careful with those. We'll see if that works. But yeah, that's all ready to put back on, isn't it?
Let's go.
Right, let's cut that one open and have a look what's inside. Okay, so here we go. Tyler's kindly cut it in half for us so we can look inside and Tyler, there's loads of water in there, wasn't there, Tyler?
Yeah, there's lots of water.
There's lots of water, but it's got this funny little like grate under here. But actually, the wall thickness is not too bad. I mean, I don't think it looks. There's a consistent wall thickness there, isn't there? There's nothing to say it was gonna fail imminently, even though it looks. And we did it at the worst end. You can see where this is. Wait, we got like there you go. And that's, you won't be able to see anything in there, but it is pretty much the same all the way through in there. But yeah, big old puddle came out when we did that. Right, enough of the old. Let's get on with the new. So our next job is to undo this little Voss connector. And we've got to go and swap this for the one. So be careful, that's the O-ring. So I don't think we need any PTFE tape or any goo because the sealing should be done by the O-ring. And what we've got to do is take that dummy out and insert the new one. But we've had a little play and we think we know what we're doing now, don't we, Tyler?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, so what do we need? We need we need a 12mm socket there, a spanner, and a 22. 12 and 22, and this. Oh, and let's take those 2 washers. We reckon they might help us, don't we? Push it on. Right, let's get the light on under. Oh, Tyler's got the light on under here already. Right, which way? You stay behind the light, Tyler, and then let's have a look what we've got going on. Right, here we go. Look at that. There it is. So what we've got to do is we've got to separate the back section there. Move the light round just towards you a bit there. That's it. We've got to separate this back bit, and there should be a little olive in there. So we just put the spanner. There we go. He's not too tight. Look look, the light seems a bit funny. Is that better?
Yeah.
There. Okay, so what you got there? That's
the big one.
That's the big one, but we're throwing that away anyway. Right, and then if you look here, there's like a little olive right on the end there. Boop. Right, we've got to pull that off gently. Now he's got a split in him. If I can see, you can see there he's got a split. So sometimes you might have to just get your fingernails in a bit and spread them a little bit, and just work him off, or not, or just pull him, or just pull the whole thing. Oh, it's got my glove. Give me your glove back. Right, and hold on. Here we go. He's gripping him firmly, isn't it, Giant? Right, here we go. We got him now. Come on. There we go. That's what we're after. Well, we don't. But again, that's going to be thrown away, so I'm not too worried there, Tyler. Do you want that?
I'll have a look
You can study that in great depth. Right. And then we should be able to pull that last bit off there, and just leave us our 6mm pipe. I guess you could cut the end of the pipe off, but I don't really want to because it's got this nice. It's got that nice little bit, a nice little, what are we going to call that?
Ridge.
Ridge. We'll take ridge. It's got a nice little ridge, so you can see how far. But as long as that looks all right, which it does, then we can grab this one.
The new one.
The new one. Now there should be a little olive in there somewhere. And look, that little blank piece is holding the olive straight for us, hasn't he? Let me pull the. Hopefully you got this. I don't know where you. Right. And so we've got the little. Right. So I'm going to slip that back on. I've got the olive in my hand still. Back up to that rig. Right. Now I don't think it matters which way that little olive goes on, as long as he goes on. Right. Right. Now, I figured this was going to be hard, so what I thought is if I got a little washer, can I just press against the washer? Look, that's a top tip ever there was one. Alright, so it's all pushed back up to the ridge, you can see that. And I've got the little free bit at the front. And then, what should happen is if I put that on, and spin that on, that should all go up to the right place, and the ridge is nice and tight up there. Nip them up, and we is good to go. We are cooking on gas.
Which size washer was that? That was M6.
Special Land Rover tool, part number 21845, I think, Tyler, that one.
Yeah. It cost 100 quid.
Yeah, it cost 100 quid. I don't think they invented anything so ingenious as that. Right then. Why not? Go on, you get. Go on. Right then. Right, we are now ready, are we not, Tyler, to get the new tank in. Get this. I think we're going to have to fit this first because you can't access it when it's up in behind there, can we?
Yeah.
So we'll rest the tank here. We'll rest it on something and we'll spin this in and then we'll get it all rested in place. Okay, we have our beautiful new tank. Right, maybe we'll get this threaded in here. So it should all spin. It's actually got a bit tight on that top. I wonder if should I loosen that off a bit? Because it's almost gripping it. Because didn't it spin originally?
Yeah,
wait, it will spin
around the...
but it's a bit tricky. I wonder if I need to loosen that a bit or put some pliers just to hold. Because look, it will spin. There you go. Right, let's try that. Once I get it in and started, I'll be alright. You have to bring the light round to that. Right, yeah. And this is not... Go on. Oh, yeah, I don't want to cross-thread it, but this seems a bit slightly odd angle. I need to get those nitrile gloves. Everyone's been... They sold out of nitrile gloves at Tool Station. Everyone's gone coronavirus.
Don't want to touch people.
People in 10 years' time, what's coronavirus then? What's he talking about? It'd be like SARS or what else did we used to have?
Swine flu.
Swine flu.
Bird flu.
Bat flu. Right then.
Spanish flu.
Spanish flu, yeah, that was not a good one.
I guess it's Chinese flu now, if you really want to.
Right then. You shouldn't be that ultra tight because it's seen on the O-ring. Right, so if you zoom back a bit with the camera, Tyler, I reckon I'll take the weight there. And I reckon what we need to do is get that back edge in. So if you can see that back edge, show everyone that. Have I got enough room to get that up? Yeah, is that sort of the right orientation?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that should be.
So that's got enough. And then at this end, if you zip back down this end, Tyler, with your light and your torch, it's got a little, I want to point out this little, here. So see that little bit there? That should locate into this. So it should hold it all for us. So if we get it right, I'm nearly there. Hold on. All right then. All right. Well, I need to, if you let go a bit there with your knee, you've got yourself a bit stucky. He's fighting me a little bit. There you go. He's there, look. So that little thing there, if I see he's hooked in now. So he's already lined up. I think I'm sitting on my nuts and bolts. Right, let me get my nuts and bolts. So we've got some stainless steel nuts and bolts, and they're M8 by 16. But we've got some M8 by 20s. Because that's all we had in the cupboard. But they'll be fine. Hold on, let me leave you the light. Wow, that looks so much nicer.
It's quite easy to get the bolts in because it'll rest on its own.
Yeah, it will rest on its own, but it's resting a little bit high. I can't quite seem to get them in. It wants to come down. It's like that little... It's only just having it. There we go. That doesn't look right, does it? Does that look like it's cross-threaded?
It looks a bit of an angle,
Yeah,
but
it does look a bit of an angle.
I can't tell if it's just...
I'm going to go for the top one. Well, we might have to bend that. I'm going to lever this down a bit. I think that's a little bit too high. If you look from this end, Tyler. So that top one needs to twist. I'll be right if I twist him. Let me try twisting him. Right then. Everyone's bored now. Right, we'll get this sorted, and then we'll come back and see you in a minute. Right, we've just bent that tab a little bit, haven't we, Tyler?
Yeah.
And we're just going to put a bit of copper grease on these, and then that bending that tab down gave us just a little bit more room. And now they go in sweetly. So I'll just take that one out again and put some copper grease on him. Tyler remembered the copper grease.
It's good, fun stuff.
It is fun stuff. You feel like you've done a proper job. You sleep better for putting a bit of copper grease. Right, we'll get that tightened and then we'll go and do the other end. Okay, one thing we can do while we're up this end before we go down the other end is reconnect this connector here back into the valve block. So just check that's all clean on that washer there. All seems fine. So he goes in that hole above the green one. He's one of those ones where you've got to turn it while the pipe's still half gripping it. Sorry, you can't see anything.
If you got it out, you should be able to figure it out to get it back in, hopefully.
Oh, he's there. It's just I've sort of got to get in your way to spin it. Alright, I'll nip him up, and then I'll nip this up and then hook this valve block back on the chassis mount there. So there we go, we are all done. We have got the 2 bolts in at the front. They took a little bit of doing there. We have got the new tank on, we've got it all there. We've got to put the compressor cover back on. But I think that old tank's been under this car 15 years. It's been off-road and it was still intact. But I've got that on there now. I know I'm going to be good for another 15 years. So if you're doing that, good luck with that. We're going to put them on the website. We'll put them for sale with a kit of stainless steel bolts and some washers. I think that's all you need to do this kit. There we go. Good luck.